The Mediterranean breeze carried the scent of salt and spices through the bustling streets of Latakia. The city, nestled between the sea and the mountains, was alive with the sounds of vendors calling out their wares and the laughter of children darting between stalls. The air was thick with the promise of another ordinary evening, as if nothing could ever disturb the peace that had settled over the city for generations. It was a night like any other in December, the kind of night that felt timeless, suspended between the past and the future. Families gathered for dinner, sharing stories and laughter. The clatter of dishes and the aroma of home-cooked meals filled the air, weaving a tapestry of comfort and belonging. Children chased each other through the ancient alleyways, their joyous cries echoing against the stone walls. Their games, passed down through generations, brought life to the old city, a reminder that some things never change. At the port, workers unloaded cargo ships, the rhythmic clang of metal a familiar lullaby. The harbor lights shimmered on the water, casting long reflections that danced with every gentle wave. Life, in all its chaotic beauty, pulsed with a rhythm that felt eternal. The city's heartbeat was steady, its people moving in harmony, each playing their part in the nightly symphony. Samir Alouche, a port worker, finished his shift, his muscles aching, but his heart content. He wiped the sweat from his brow, grateful for honest work and the promise of rest. He looked forward to a simple meal with his wife and children, the warmth of their small apartment, a sanctuary against the encroaching chill of the night. The glow of the kitchen light beckoned him home, a beacon of comfort and love. He had heard rumors of unrest in the south, whispers of a changing tide, but Latakia had always felt a world away. Conversations in cafes and living rooms turned to politics, but most believed their city would remain untouched. As the last rays of sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the city, a sense of normalcy prevailed. The golden light lingered, painting the city in hues of hope and nostalgia. Shopkeepers shuttered their windows, their faces etched with the day's labors. They exchanged quiet goodnights, trusting that tomorrow would bring more of the same. Fishermen mended their nets, preparing for the next day's catch. The gentle sound of their hands at work was a nightly ritual, a thread connecting them to their ancestors and the sea. The rhythm of life, a steady drumbeat, continued, oblivious to the storm that was about to break. The city moved as one, unaware of the darkness gathering at its edges. Little did they know that this night, this seemingly ordinary December night, would be etched in their memories forever. The peace they cherished was more fragile than they realized. The city of Latakia, a place of ancient history and vibrant life, stood on the precipice of an unimaginable chaos. Its people, bound by tradition and hope, could not foresee the storm that was about to descend. The whispers of unrest would soon transform into a deafening roar, shattering the illusion of normalcy and plunging the city into darkness. In a single night, everything would change and Latakia would never be the same again. The first sign that something was amiss came as a low hum, a tremor in the air that sent a shiver down Samir's spine. He dismissed it as fatigue, the product of a long day's work. But as the hum grew louder, morphing into a guttural roar, a knot of unease tightened in his stomach. Outside, the city's usual nocturnal symphony, the murmur of conversations, the distant call to prayer, was replaced by an eerie silence. The air crackled with an unfamiliar tension, a palpable sense of dread that sent birds scattering from their perches and stray dogs whimpering into the shadows. Aya, a young mother, was putting her children to bed when the lights flickered and died, plunging their apartment into darkness. Her heart pounded in her chest. Power outages were common, a grim reminder of the country's fragile infrastructure, but this felt different. This felt ominous. Fear snaked its way through the darkened streets, a silent contagion spreading from neighbor to neighbor. Whispers turned into frantic phone calls, each unanswered ring amplifying the growing sense of panic. The city, once a symphony of light and sound, held its breath, bracing for the unknown. The silence shattered with a deafening roar, a sound so sudden and violent it seemed to split the very fabric of the night. In an instant, the world was transformed from peaceful darkness to chaos and blinding light. A monstrous explosion ripped through the night, its force echoing for miles, the shockwave rolling outwards like a tidal wave of destruction. The ground trembled beneath their feet, windows rattled in their frames, and walls shook as if the city itself was recoiling in pain. The blast was felt in every bone, every breath, a reminder of how fragile safety truly is. A collective gasp rose from the city as a blinding orange glow illuminated the night sky, turning familiar streets into a landscape of shadows and fire. Samir, thrown to the ground by the force of the blast, scrambled to his feet, his mind struggling to comprehend the chaos unfolding around him. Dust and debris swirled in the air, stinging his eyes and filling his lungs with every desperate breath. The air was thick with the acrid smell of smoke and the metallic tang of blood, a suffocating haze that clung to every surface and every soul. Screams pierced the night, a chorus of terror that echoed through the empty streets, mingling with the distant wail of sirens and the frantic shouts of neighbors searching for loved ones. Aya, clutching her children to her chest, watched in horror as a fireball erupted from the direction of the port, painting the sky in hues of orange and red. Her heart pounded in her chest, every instinct screaming to protect her family from the nightmare unfolding outside. The ground shook with relentless fury, each tremor threatening to tear her small family apart. The walls seemed to close in, dust falling from the ceiling as the world outside roared with violence. She had never known fear like this, a primal instinct to protect her children from a threat she couldn't comprehend. Every second felt like an eternity, every sound a new terror. The night sky, once a tapestry of stars, was now a canvas of fire and destruction, the constellations blotted out by smoke and flame. Explosions ripped through the city with terrifying regularity, each blast sending shockwaves that rippled through buildings, shattering glass, and sending debris raining down on the terrified inhabitants below. The relentless barrage left no time to process, only to react, to survive. The city, once a sanctuary, had become a war zone in the blink of an eye. In that moment, Latakia was forever changed, its people left to face a night that would haunt them for years to come. As the first light of dawn pierced through the smoke-filled sky, it revealed a scene of unimaginable devastation. The city, once alive with the sounds of mourning, now lay silent beneath a haze of dust and ash. The golden rays struggled to break through the thick, acrid air, illuminating the scars left by the night's violence. Buildings lay in ruins, reduced to rubble and twisted metal. Entire blocks had collapsed, their foundations shattered, leaving behind only jagged remnants of what once stood tall and proud. The destruction was total, sparing nothing in its path. The streets, once teeming with life, were now littered with debris and shrouded in an eerie silence. Abandoned vehicles sat half-buried in the wreckage, and the echoes of laughter and daily bustle had been replaced by a haunting stillness. The air, heavy with the stench of smoke and death, was thick with the dust of a city that had fallen. Every breath was a reminder of the destruction, the taste of ash lingering on the tongue, the weight of loss pressing down on every survivor. Samir, his clothes torn and his face streaked with soot, stumbled through the wreckage, his eyes searching for any sign of life. Each step was a struggle, his heart pounding with fear and hope as he called out for loved ones, his voice barely rising above the crackle of distant fires. The port, his workplace, his lifeline was gone, replaced by a smoldering crater. The familiar sounds of ships and workers had vanished, leaving only the hiss of steam and the groan of twisted metal. Twisted metal skeletons of ships protruded from the water, a testament to the ferocity of the attack. Once proud vessels now lay broken, their hulls torn open, their cargo lost to the depths. Aya emerged from the rubble of her building, her children miraculously unharmed. She clutched them tightly, her hands trembling as she guided them over shattered concrete and broken glass, whispering words of comfort she barely believed herself. Her eyes, wide with shock and disbelief, surveyed the apocalyptic landscape that had once been her home. The world she knew had vanished overnight, replaced by a nightmare of destruction and uncertainty. The familiar landmarks, the bustling marketplace, the ancient mosque were all gone, replaced by a wasteland of rubble and ash. Memories of laughter, prayer, and community gatherings seemed impossibly distant, erased in a single night. The city, once a vibrant tapestry of life, lay in ruins, a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the indiscriminate brutality of war. From above, the devastation stretched as far as the eye could see, a patchwork of destruction and sorrow.